Let's be honest, for over a decade, Siri has kind of been a punchline, right? Well, that's all about to change, and it's thanks to a secret deal with its biggest rival. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on Siri's billion-dollar brain transplant.
I mean, just picture it for a second. What if you could ask Siri to do something actually complicated, and it just worked? No more of that, sorry, I can't help with that, or here's what I found on the web. It's the dream we've all had for years, and Apple is finally ready with an answer. And trust me, it's one that nobody saw coming.
So how did we even get here? I mean, just look at this journey. Siri started out as this revolutionary thing back in 2011, but by 2015, it was already starting to feel dumb. Apple made these huge promises at WWDC 2024 with Apple Intelligence, but then, boom, key features get delayed to 2025, and the full reboot might not even happen until 2026. This timeline just screams we've been struggling.
So what was the real problem? Well, here's the brutal truth. The new enhanced Siri only worked correctly about 2/3 of the time. Think about that. 1 out of every 3 times you used it, it would fail. For a company like Apple, that's just unacceptable. It's the real reason they had to make such a drastic move.
And the move they're making is staggering. Just look at this. The old Siri was running on a model with about 150 billion parameters. Think of those as neurons in a brain. The new engine, it's going to be powered by a model with 1.2 trillion parameters. That's an 8-fold leap in raw computational power. This isn't just an update. It is a complete engine replacement.
Right. So where does Apple get a brain that powerful, that fast? This brings us to the absolute core of the story, a truly unthinkable tech alliance. Yep, Apple is turning to its biggest rival, Google, for the secret weapon it needs to finally fix Siri.
And a deal like this, well, it doesn't come cheap. We are talking about a reported $1 billion per year. That's what Apple is supposedly paying Google just to license a custom version of its Gemini AI model. It's a massive, massive bet that shows you just how serious this is for Apple.
So you have to be wondering, why on earth would these two fierce rivals ever agree to this? Well, it's actually a super smart win-win. For Apple, it's an instant upgrade. They get a state-of-the-art AI brain right now, saving them years of R&D headaches. And for Google, it's a huge win, a $1 billion paycheck every year, and their Gemini AI gets put on over 2 billion Apple devices. It's a pragmatic masterstroke for both sides.
Of course, the second you hear Apple, Google, and data in the same sentence, the privacy alarm bells start ringing, and they ring loud. So this leads to the biggest question of all. Can Apple actually use Google's AI brain without compromising its famous ironclad commitment to user privacy?
Apple's answer is this really clever system they're calling private cloud compute. Here's the simple version of how it works. First, your iPhone tries to handle the request on its own. If it's too complicated, it sends it to Apple's secure servers. And here is the magic trick. Google's AI model runs inside Apple's secure cloud, so your data never, ever leaves the Apple ecosystem. And the technology that makes all of this possible is called stateless computation. It sounds super technical, but the promise is actually really simple. Your personal data is used to answer your question, and only to answer your question. Then, poof, it's gone. It is never stored, never used to build a profile on you, and it's never seen by Google. This was Apple's line in the sand.
Okay, so we've covered the how, the why, and the privacy stuff. Now let's get to the fun part. What can this new and improved Siri actually do? Let's look at the game-changing features that this new brain unlocks, the kind you'll really actually want to use.
So the all-new Siri is basically getting 4 new superpowers. It's going to have personal context, which means it finally understands your stuff, your files, messages, you name it. It gets on-screen awareness, so it knows what you're looking at on your phone, and it will finally be able to automate tasks across different apps.
So let's talk about personal context. This is huge. You'll be able to say something totally natural like, "Show me the files Eric sent me last week about the new project." The old Siri would just throw its hands up. But the new Siri, it can actually dig through your emails, your files, your messages, and find exactly what you're asking for. I mean, finally.
Now this is where it gets really mind-blowing. Let's combine these superpowers. You could say something like, "Plan a dinner date with Sarah at a Thai restaurant near her office and add it to my calendar." The new Siri would use its awareness to pull Sarah's office from your contacts, find restaurants and maps, and create the event in your calendar, all from one single command. That is true, hands-free multitasking.
So with all this amazing power coming directly from Google, you might be thinking, Is Apple just giving up on building its own AI? Well, not exactly. It's time to zoom out and look at the real long-term strategy here. This is the question on everyone's mind, isn't it? Is Apple, the company that prides itself on doing everything in-house, finally admitting that it just can't keep up in the great AI race? The answer is a very strategic no. This isn't a white flag of surrender, it's a brilliant stopgap. Apple is essentially using Google's tech to fix the Siri brand and compete today, all while its own teams are working like crazy behind the scenes to build their own model powerful enough to eventually replace Gemini. They're buying themselves time.
But let's be real, even with this clever strategy, the road ahead is still really tough. As Bloomberg's Mark Gurman points out, there's just no guarantee this will be enough to undo years of jokes and frustration. Apple still has to win back our trust and prove that Siri is finally the smart assistant we were promised all those years ago. The stakes could not be higher. If this video opened your eyes to what's possible, hit that like button and subscribe for more practical, no-hype AI strategies for growing your business.